what we have is an upload button, some breadcrumbs, and Windows switcher. What this says, just by looking at this, the person on the right that has a PlayStation's got a huge. Take a look at that. Look at that handle. The way that he holds that is just manly. The way that you hold the one on the left is feminine as shit. Let me just preface this. If I get a little irritated or if I get a little agitated because of what is happening in the stream, I just want you to understand it's with good intentions. Well, it might not be good intentions. It actually might make you feel like less or more of a woman or a man. There's this debate, yeah? Apple versus Android. Everybody knows it. Everybody. Microsoft versus Apple. Yup. Both operating systems. Android versus Windows. Nobody cares about it. It's irrelevant. Pizza with pineapples or pizza without it. People come up with the dumbest arguments to fight about. However, I'm going to bring one to the table that I think is an adequate argument. Microsoft Xbox versus PlayStation anything. We're not going to talk about the games because they both have their licensed games. We're not going to talk about which one's got better display. I think they're both the same. We're not going to talk about which platform is more attractive than the other one. One may look like a trash can. The other one looks like it's a UFO. We're not going to talk about that. You know what we're going to talk about today? The controller. That's the topic, is the controller. I can't really talk to you about controllers because I used an Atari 2600 stick. Okay, that's a stick with a button. It doesn't get any easier than that. It's essentially a D-pad with a dildo on the top of it, with a big red button. And that's what I played with. We're not going to talk about the Atari Jaguar controller that had 47 button configurations. What we're going to talk about are these two hideous comparisons. To me, it is like comparing a Ferrari to a Corvette. But just for argument's sake, we're going to get it. What you have in front of you is two different controllers. On the left is the Xbox, and on the right is the PlayStation. I don't know which version of the Xbox controller it is. I just know that that's an Xbox controller. First, I want to talk about how big that X, Y, A, and B are. Are you fucking blind? Number one. Okay? Take a look at the PlayStation 1 on the right. It's super clean. It's clear. It's attractive. These are, by all stretch of the means, stock controllers. Now you're going to say, Jay, you're biased. This is horse shit. You're saying you like that because you're used to that. Nonsense. I've owned an Xbox once until I picked up the controller and I realized it was like holding an oversized ostrich egg with multiple configurations on it. Let's talk about it. Take a look at the PlayStation 1 on the right. You got a lovely little D-pad on the left side. Okay, that's the thing that's got the up, down, left, right. Yeah? And then you got a left stick and a right stick. It makes sense. It's symmetry at its finest. Circle, circle, circle gets a square. Okay? And then talking about circle gets a square, take a look at those buttons. Circle, square, triangle, X. Easy! Even if you don't know the alphabet, you know shapes. Everybody knows the shapes. Circle gets a square. Put the X inside of the X. Put the square inside of the square. No. The other one forces you to have to know how many letters are in the alphabet and which position your finger's in to hit the corresponding letter. That is horse shit. Not only that, you got your little rotator jam. We're going to call those sticks, for lack of better terms, on the right side. We're doing all right. But take a look at how wide where you put the bottom of your hand is. It's awkward. I get it. There's probably triggers on the back. It doesn't matter. It's not enough to grab onto. What this says, just by looking at this, the person on the right that has a PlayStation's got a huge dick. Take a look at that. Look at that handle. The way that he holds that is just manly. The way that you hold the one on the left is feminine as shit. You got to be graceful about it. And not even that, in order to get to your D-pad, nobody uses that D-pad. Horse shit. I want to see you play and use both the stick and the D-pad on the left. Now, you might say, well, there's no point of using the D-pad. I have the same argument. I think they should just get rid of the D-pad on the PlayStation controller. The only problem is it just gives you more options, more menu options. I'm sure it's the same on the Xbox than it is on the PlayStation. Right? It's just aesthetically more symmetrical. Take a look at the speaker on the PlayStation one. You got a couple little cutouts with the PlayStation logo. It looks nice. They got a little LED. Take a look at the one on the left. What we have is an upload button, some breadcrumbs, and window switcher. That's what we get. You know why? Because that's made by Microsoft. You know how Microsoft knows that they're shit? Just go ahead and Google Microsoft CrowdStrike. Just give that a whim today. And that further validates how much Microsoft sucks balls. Take a look on the right. Anybody that has held anything that has a handle knows that the one on the right is more compensating than the one on the left. You'll see this argument. Xbox is better than PlayStation. PlayStation is better than Xbox. I'm not here for that. I'm not saying that one is better than the other as far as platforms are concerned. But what I am saying to you, that is if you use the controller on the left, you know, if you're a dude, you're sucking dick.